A political storm is gathering over Kiev, where power, legitimacy, and war now collide in a high-stakes confrontation that could reshape Ukraine's future. Before we dive into this unfolding drama, make sure to subscribe and like the channel so you never miss a critical geopolitical update delivered with clarity and depth. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has signaled that calls from Western partners for national elections may not be as straightforward as they appear. In a recent interview with BBC, he suggested that some of Ukraine's backers could be advocating for a vote not merely as a democratic exercise, but potentially as a mechanism to remove him from office. Zelensky's 5-year presidential mandate formally concluded in May 2024. Since then, Moscow has characterized him as illegitimate, arguing that any agreements signed under his continued leadership could lack legal standing. The Ukrainian government, however, has maintained that martial law, imposed amid the ongoing conflict, legally postpones national elections. In the interview, Zelensky acknowledged that elections are not impossible in principle. Yet, he laid out a series of formidable obstacles that, in his view, complicate the process. Millions of Ukrainian citizens remain displaced abroad. Large portions of territory remain outside Kiev's control. Electoral laws would require revision to accommodate wartime realities. Administrative logistics would demand extensive coordination under extraordinary conditions. Against this backdrop, Zelensky issued what appeared to be a direct challenge to Ukraine's Western allies. He recounted telling international partners to clarify their intentions. Is the priority to remove him or to organize a legitimate national vote? The implication was clear. If elections are to proceed, they must be conducted in a manner recognized both domestically and internationally as credible and lawful. He emphasized that any future ballot must be honest and accepted first and foremost by the Ukrainian public. International endorsement, he suggested, would only carry weight if the process itself meets rigorous standards of legitimacy. Pressure has also come from the United States. President Donald Trump has publicly urged Kiev to hold elections, at one point using particularly sharp language in reference to Zelensky's continued tenure. In response to American calls for a renewed mandate, the Ukrainian leader indicated that elections could theoretically be organized within a 60 to 90-day timeframe. However, he attached critical conditions: firm Western security guarantees and a ceasefire arrangement with Russia. Moscow, for its part, has opposed the concept of a temporary truce, arguing that any pause in hostilities would allow Ukrainian forces to regroup and replenish. The Kremlin's stance further complicates the feasibility of organizing a nationwide vote under stable conditions. Meanwhile, domestic political dynamics add another layer of uncertainty. A December 2025 poll conducted by Sokis suggested that, in a hypothetical runoff, former Commander-in-Chief Volodymyr Zelensky, currently serving as Ukraine's ambassador to the United Kingdom, would command a substantial majority over Zelensky. The survey indicated a potential 64% to 36% split in Zelensky's favor, underscoring the high stakes surrounding any future electoral contest. The broader implications are profound. Elections during wartime are rare and fraught with complexity. Questions of security, voter participation, territorial access, and international recognition would all intersect in ways that could redefine Ukraine's political trajectory. At the same time, the issue of legitimacy remains central, both in domestic politics and in diplomatic negotiations with Moscow. For Zelensky, the path forward appears tightly bound to conditions on the battlefield, the positions of Western capitals, and the sentiments of Ukrainian voters at home and abroad. For Ukraine's allies, the debate raises fundamental questions about democratic continuity during national emergency. And for Russia, the matter intersects directly with its assertions regarding the legal standing of Kiev's leadership. As the conflict continues and diplomatic maneuvering intensifies, the prospect of elections has become more than a procedural discussion. It is now a focal point in the broader struggle over authority, sovereignty, and the future direction of the Ukrainian state. The coming months may determine whether Ukraine proceeds toward a ballot box under fire, postpones the process further under martial law, or negotiates a political formula that reshapes its leadership landscape altogether. Stay tuned as this evolving story continues to unfold.